log on to your PCs and check your mail. The newest episode of PokeCentre has just dropped. Welcome everyone to coverage of Week 3 of the Commander Draft Tournament. Another exciting week, another action-packed week here as it is every week in the NCPL's Commander Draft Tournament. I'm Douglas Evans, joined as always every week by Calvin Royd. How are you doing today, Calvin?
I'm excited. I'm ready. I just want to get right into this.
Well, we're going to get into it in a second here with all the highlights of all the matches from the past week. But of course, we're going to start this episode like we do any other episode, and we're going to talk about the trades. Trades is a big deal. It's a big piece of news to come out from every Monday after just coming off a week of competition. And it's always good to talk about what kind of moves people have made. So we're going to get right into it here. Starting off in the Shield division, Simon traded a Tier 4 Mega Abomasnow for a Gold Bat. What do you make of that trade?
Well, I think this is another trade where he's not fully addressing the problems with his team. I think a Mega Abomasnow was a great offensive pressure on his team. Losing that, he's going more and more into the bulky aspects of his team. And, well, he's only got one more trade left, and he hasn't addressed like some of the overlapping problems, like the double steals, the double grounds. So I'm mostly neutral on this one. I think he's got to think long and hard about that last trade.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like you said, like you only have 3 trades in a season, so like each trade is so important and can really be super detrimental or beneficial to your game. But it still comes down to the player at the end of the day. Moving on here, we actually have a trade in the Sword division this week. The first time in the weeks of this tournament that a player from the Sword division has made a trade, and we have Vikram. Not only did 1 trade, but 2 trades. And starting off here, he did a Tier 5 Mawile for Matang. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty neutral trade. I think he was just looking for something very similar, but with maybe a different set of tools. So he's losing out on the fairy typing, which is probably good because he's already got the Comfey. Mind you, most of those fairy weaknesses and drawbacks were covered by the steel. Either way, having Matang with the psychic steel is pretty good. Very similar coverage and what it does. It can be bulky with the Eviolite, run Choice Band. You're not getting that life orb, sheer force damage, but you're still getting some good offensive pressure with like a Choice Band or something. But basically the same Pokemon role overall, so I'm pretty neutral on this one.
Sounds good. And the second trade he made was a Tier 5 Sandslash for a Drifblim. What do you think?
This one's mostly neutral, but I think I lean more to a positive for this trade. It's a positive in terms of his team was having some overlap issues as far as having the ground types. So since he's got Flygon as his Tier 3 captain, he's required to bring that every week. So it might be difficult to find a spot for Sandslash on the team when Flygon can relatively do whatever Sandslash is doing, except better, minus the rapid spinning, which now he's losing, which means that defogging is going to be the role of Flygon and Charizard, which is kind of where I'm leaning towards this being a negative trade. However, with Drifblim, he's got a new typing in the Ghost type, and he's got some new offense with Unburden. So if he can be creative with the Drifblim, I think he can really make it an outstanding trade.
Awesome. Well, as always, it's always great to get your analysis on the trades and to get your thoughts on them. But we got a lot of highlights to get into, a lot of big matches. Laurel versus Jared, Vikram versus Florian, Sean versus Connor, a huge match with Blade. Jonas probably won again. We'll talk about that. There's a lot of stuff to get into, and I say let's get into it right now. Starting this week in the Sword division here, first up we got Hayden against Matthew.
Going into this match here, Matthew really brings a very interesting Primarina set. It's got Whirlpool and Perish Song, so it can trap in potentially kill a Pokemon that normally maybe wouldn't have, such as this Assault Vest Slowking. Now, Hayden doesn't really react very well to this, as you see right there with the Dragon Tail. Now you might think, well, this won't matter too much as far as the rest of the game goes, but the fact that he didn't Psyshock there and get off critical chip damage means that this Primarina is actually going to survive these next Psyshocks with its substitute, and when it comes in later against the Moltres, it's going to actually live the Hurricane and be a critical sack for later, which is going to help Matthew's differential at the end of this match. Now, going into the later part of this game, Hayden finally, after struggling a bit, gets some momentum going. He gets the screens up, he's got the Trick Room, and this Earth Ring is ready to just go ham. A well-timed Ice Punch, you see the crit, obviously the crit didn't matter. But here's that sack. Now, Primarina shouldn't have been here. That should have been another Pokemon being defeated in this scenario. So, boom, 3 Pokemon down. Earth Ring's a problem. This hacks right here matters. Look at the stats below. He had a 37% chance to one-hit KO. That is not in Matthew's favor, so I feel bad for Hayden there. Now, here we see that Matt is ending this game off with 3 differential. I think it should have been a 2 differential. Despite the hacks, it still was going to go in Matt's favor here.
And up next, we have Joshua against William. And as we can see here, unlike myself and Calvin, nothing robotic about William's strategy in the beginning of this match, making all kinds of moves and switches and all kinds of crazy stuff. What is going on here, Calvin?
Well, as you saw with the Frostlass switch into the Rapid Spin on Hitmontop, a really unnecessary prediction. William played really risky at points in this game, including a later point when the Metagross was switched into the Silvally Dark. You do realize that's got a 120 base power Dark move to hit you with, right? Well, anyways, this Tangela walled the shit out of that Hitmontop. It was revealed that it only had Earthquake, Rapid Spin, Fake Out, and Brick Break for it. Really cool to see the Tangela able to wall something like that. Now, Goodra was a big threat for William, which he took very seriously and got rid of it with a nice, strategically timed Destiny Bond there. So, at this point of the game, it's practically over. You might be like, well, why, Calvin? Well, I'll tell you why. You see this Beware, this normal type? It's got a dark move, and, well, Joshua basically just loses. That's what happens when a majority of your team is this heavily focused on ghosts. It's a tough bring, wouldn't you say, Douglas?
Yeah, I would agree, and I think Josh, it might be time to reevaluate that team. You know, you got a lot of ghost types, and you're getting exposed to this dark weakness again and again and again, 3 weeks in a row. And Monday, trade time can't come soon enough for you. And up next, we have Connor West against Sean.
Just like we mentioned last week, always expect the Assault Vest. This time it's on Guzzlord. How do we know that? Well, there's no way in hell that a 4x Fairy Week is going to be taking a dazzling gleam to the face that well. Connor came very well prepared. And speaking of being prepared, this Darmanitan is insane. Sean is in for a real headache with this Pokemon.
Yeah, just as you said, Sean switches in with the Quagsire, but wait, isn't Darmanitan fire bad against water and fire, Calvin?
Yeah, I'd say so. But you know what Darmanitan has to say to that? Fuck type effectiveness. Look at these hits! That is 2-hit KO under rocks. Wow. Bye-bye defensive core. Jeez.
Yeah, just an awesome use of Darmanitan in this match by Connor here. So cool to see that.
Yeah, with the Life Orb, this thing is really integral to Connor's answers to a lot of Sean's walls, especially the Mega Audino, which we'll see coming up here, because there was a couple times where it tried to go for these Calm Mind setup opportunities, and it was collecting kills. So Connor brings in the Darmanitan to finally get rid of this fat fairy, but Sean is one step ahead. He sacrifices Venusaur to make it so that Darmanitan goes down to its own recoil. A very pivotal move for Sean, because this absolutely guaranteed that the Audino was going to be able to set up safely and pick off the rest of the Pokemon. Really great game overall.
Yeah, an awesome game and a good win for Sean there. And now up, we got Florian against Vikram.
What a really offensive match we have here. Right off the bat, a very risky switch into the Hariyama with the Charizard. Vikram uses that opportunity to get a Dragon Dance off at a very tough turn for Flo. He gets crit with the Rock Slide. Man, Vic is just one lucky SOB. But he's not going to stop there. He's going to keep rolling with this luck. Even though he takes the fake out, he is committed. He's staying in, and he's just going to keep trying to fire off powerful hits. Mind you, Flo adapts and is able to weaken it and take it out with a Rocky Helmet. But Flo's not giving up. He's got as +2 Drapion, aided by its high critical hit chance and sniper ability. It's just going insane here. Like, Flo is only able to take so many of these hits, but when this thing is critting everything, there's only so much you can do. So he's able to get it paralyzed, intimidated. He's got the hail up. He's finally able to get rid of it. So now the Weather War dynamic is really going to start shaking things up here. The Gigalith is in, gets Stoutland in. Now we've got Auroras in. The hail is up, but unfortunately Flo has to sacrifice it here to keep his hail up. Being like, oh no, Vic's got the upper hand now, because now he's going to be able to have Sand up for the whole game. But no, Flo brings manual hail. What great tech, honestly. Now the momentum's on his side. But maybe a bit of an overpredict or something here. But he goes into the Rotom Heat, and it's going to go down to Rock Blast. Very unfortunate for Flo. Good for Vic. But at this point, after stalling out the hail turns, he's able to reign victorious with this Stoutland. A very lucky guy that Vikram is.
Up next is my co-host Calvin against Paul.
So going into this matchup, the Meloetta and Tornadus were really crazy wild cards for me. I didn't know what they were going to bring, so they were the only things really upsetting any sort of game plan I could have had. As you can see with this Muck, though, I was able to deal with it quite well. Even with a +1 curse, Earthquake is still a 2-shot, and Tauros' natural bulk can take the Brick Break. But like I said, everything else was not able to really do anything against me. Tauros mid-game is a great wall breaker. But once again, that Choice Scarf Meloetta really was the only ringer for me. Now here we have my Serena. I was able to go for 2 knockoffs, which with removing Banette and getting rid of the Destiny Bond card he could play, I was able to U-turn with the Serena into my Choice Scarfed Rotom Frost, and once again able to sweep with, well, safe Thunderbolt. Nice easy game plan for me, and a good win.
Nicely done, Calvin. And main eventing Sword, it's Lewis against Blade.
Once again, this wacky Excelgor set is going to make an appearance, except this time it's going to go for Toxic Spikes. Something that actually works out for Blade. Now we got this Inteleon here with Snipe Shot, and it's just going to crit through everything. Really did not seem like Lewis came very prepared to this matchup, because, wow, everything gets Toxic, and everything is going to be getting these hands from Inteleon. Oof, even that Grass type does not like that critical hit. Yikes. Even Gallade gets a little bit of work in this match with the Quick Claw and, well, of course, Psycho Cut.
Quick Claw, baby.
There it is again. Every week we want to see it here on the show. And at this point, well, Lewis is down. Like, everything's gone and Blastoise isn't set up. Looks like he's no match for Blade. That's for sure.
Calvin, you're not doing a good job here. Like, come on. Like, Blade, my man, my homie Blade with his first win of the season, and Lewis is the first of many to fall to Blade. Boom. There it is, right there. You're done. God, go Blade! I love it! I love to see it! Alrighty, heading over to the equally as exciting Shield division here. We're going to start things off with Connor P against Ross.
Oh, this was just another tough game for Ross. Except this time it was out of his hands. Look at this. Toxicroak sets up. Sandslash is in. What? Critical hit. Frozen. Oh, that gets this week's Hacks Bullshit Award for sure.
Oh yeah, and as you can see there, Ross throws down the GG. If you're throwing down a GG in turn 16, things are not going your way.
Yeah, this match is not looking good for Ross. But, you know, he's determined, he's willing, he's just got to get rid of this Toxicroak somehow. And it seems like it, you know, he eventually does get it whittled down to where it could get revenge killed. But, as we'll see here, Connor was not done with Toxicroak. He's actually able to heal it up so that it could just, get that one last little annoying bullshit hit. And, it had the focus sash, so, smart prep on Connor's part, just really annoying for Ross. Despite, the losing an integral member of the team there, Ross was still able to get this down to a low differential loss, which is still a mark of a good player. Hopefully better luck next week.
Yep, and a good win for Connor as well. Alrighty, keeping up the fast pace here, we got Simon against Zeb up next.
Oh, fast pace is right. Turn 1, right out of the gate. Thunderwave on the Gigalith. Superpower. This thing's going down. No, it's not. Look, Chople Berry. That is a great berry to have on that Pokemon. But the pace is not slowing down. Hell, I think the pace is actually going too fast. Simon's just jumping the gun here. He just switches in the Choice Banded Stoutland. He's going for the sweep. It's turn 4. And Stoutland's gone. Well, that probably wasn't the wisest decision for Simon, considering how immensely bulky Zeb's team is. On Zeb's side, though, he was able to really weaken Simon down and get it off a really good sweep with the Torterra here. With its grass and ground coverage, Simon's team really doesn't like this thing, and it's able just to smash through the remnants here. Really good, well-played game by Zeb, and Simon, well, maybe just have a little reservation next time with that Stoutland.
Let's keep things going. Norman against Robin up next.
Okay, we're starting to see a pattern here in Robin's play. Even though he gets Sport here, it looks like he's in a tough position. The Smeargle's going to start setting up a bit. Robin is going to go for his favorite move, Substitute. Wow. Now, this Yanmegas could be a huge problem to this team, but wow, Norman actually comes with some pretty cool tech here. Parasong, twice in 1 week here. Matt with the other Parasong. Didn't think I'd see that used so much in this tournament. But looks like Yanmega's potential sweep is actually cut short here, and Robin doesn't want to lose that on differential, so he's going to switch out into his Hariyama. Now we have a critical hit here, which is kind of lame. Doubt it really mattered in the long run, because Robin just came super prepared for this match, especially this sub Hariyama with Toxic. It was just such a bane. Not sure what to suggest to Norman at this point, besides what we've been saying. Get some trades, dude.
Kicking things into the next gear, it's Jared against Laurel.
Yeah, Laurel was all nerves this game, and it really shows. She played pretty good for the first bit, but then she started making some, less than optimal plays with the Leech Seeds, and Jared just really took advantage of it. His team's all about momentum, and if you're going to play too passively against him, he's going to take advantage. He's going to be going for those big risk plays, and he's just going to keep the barrage and the pressure up against you. Laurel really struggled to get, out of that little tornado of U-turns and such. And things were about to get much worse for her with this Regirock. Now, it seems like this critical hit was a really bad thing for her, but that is the least of her worries. She goes for a Waterfall when she should have gone for Thunder Wave, and this is why. it is weakness policy rock polish. This Regirock is now set to do some horrible damage to her team.
Yeah, absolutely. In this Regirock, it's going to use like Earthquake, Ice Punch, Body Slam, all sorts of different moves, but really, it's just got the broom, and it is sweeping Laurel's team right under the rug where it belongs. Destruction here. I can't believe that Laurel, what a wasted opportunity. Unbelievable. Jeez. Anyway, I guess there's really only one thing to say about Jared's win here, and that really it was just too sweet. Next up, it's the highly unpredictable Jonas match this week against Chris.
Well, though it's maybe predictable who the victor will be, Chris actually is the one who draws first blood in this game with this offensive Miltank set gets a nice rock slide on the Moltres. Really cool set here, and it definitely sticks around for the long game. Regidrago is a real crutch in this match. Honestly, with a Cobalion, a Silvally, and Hail offense, it was just not good this game. And it goes to show that sometimes having not, kind of straightforward captains can sometimes be bad in matchups like this, where you're forced to bring them and all you could do is, explode. Anyways, getting back to the action here, we've got this Miltank, and it was seriously putting in some work here. The only criticism I had was the lack of milk drink. I think that could have been really integral into keeping its survivability up this game. Anyways, Jonas would bring in the Auroras, and it actually would take a Brick Break. I was actually quite surprised by that one. This turn here sucked for Chris. He actually misclicked Defog. Apparently he was going for Parting Shot to what we would assume would have been Frostmoth, so only he knows what would have happened after that. Maybe a subset. Who knows? Could have been cool. We'll never know. At this point, it's all up to Arctozolt, and we know what this Pokemon does late game. We've seen in both divisions. It clicks one move. That move is Bolt Beak, and it wins. Another win for Jonas, except a little more fought hard this time.
Yeah, he had to actually fight for a little bit this week, so that's good to see. And our final match of week 3, it's Brian against Reggie.
I just want to say this one thing. I can say with a shadow of doubt that Reggie has been the best user of any Silvally in this tournament thus far. This set right here is evidence of that. Defog, Snarl, and Grass Pledge. Absolutely perfect. Perfectly catered to this matchup. Really impressed with how well every week he's able to bring a unique and interesting Silvally set. Now, Under the Sun, Houndoom is just a absolute beast with that solar power boosted flamethrower. But very quickly, the tide's going to turn here, and Mega Sceptile is going to say that he's the best Mega in this matchup, and he's going to be going for some powerful hits with Dragon Pulses. Now, Brian's going to struggle a little bit switching in on this. Going to try and get his Sun up. He's going to try and pivot into the Meloetta. But, big crit. Not sure if that mattered. Either way, the Meloetta goes down. But now, the Victor Bell is in. And, well, looking at Reggie's team, he is not suited to take this Weather Ball. Wow, that trade has already proven itself really good in this match here. Now, a couple of turns later, Brian would get the Sun up again for another round of Victor Bell offense. It's looking bad. He has to sack the Silvally Dark. Honestly, at this point, I was like, is Reggie going to lose? Is he going to be able to do it? But no, he's got the Choice Scarf Triple Axle Chinchino, able to outspeed Victor Bell, Chlorophyll in the Sun. Wow, that is some great preparation on Reggie's part. And with the Houndoom here, all Reggie's got to do is stall out that Sun with the Aromatize, and it's going to be able to pick it off for the win. Tremendous.
Yeah, a great win for Reggie, but I think an impressive outing for Brian. Like you said, he's made a few trades now, and I feel like he's really coming into his own, and this is a well-played match by him. Job well done. Alrighty, everyone, it is that time. It's week 3 here in the standings. We're going to take a look at how things are shaping up after 3 weeks of action here in the Commander Draft Tournament. And as we can see, A lot more of the same going on here. Sword division is very competitive, very congested. Next week we'll add some graphics on here so you can see differences of differentials and win-loss records to really articulate just what is going on here with all these players in the divisions. But Sword division is very close, very competitive. Shield division, a lot more of the same. We're seeing 4 to 5 players that are really dominating this division, and we're seeing a pretty big gap along with everybody else. And hopefully that gap can close over the weeks to come. But in the first 3 weeks here, it's been a lot more of the same. One thing I do want to point out in the Shield division that's really encouraging and cool to see is players like Zeb and Connor Peterson have done a great job climbing up over the last couple weeks. Zeb's gotten 2 big wins in the last 2 weeks, and Connor got a big win this week. So just good to see them jump up from being more at the bottom of the division to now they're making their way up, and hopefully they can challenge topper players like Robin, Jared, Jonas, Reggie in the weeks to come. Any thoughts, Calvin, on what you kind of see here with these 2 divisions?
Yeah, I agree exactly with what you said. Sword division definitely seems to be closer skill level across the gradient, whereas Shield, it's definitely a little disproportionate. That's really evident as far as the defeated and undefeated streaks. So currently only myself and Matthew are undefeated in Sword, whereas Jonas, Jared, Robin, and Reggie are all undefeated on the Shield side. Same goes with the people who have not gained a win yet. On Sword side, only Joshua has without a win. On the Shield side, Chris, Brian, Simon, and Norman are without wins. Wow, that's a pretty crazy thing to see on week 3 here. But looking at some oddities or something interesting to point out, Sean actually got his first win this week, which is really great to see. He definitely had 2 really tough matchups, and it was really great seeing him kind of change his style a little bit, not rely so much on the sun, and it actually worked out really well, got him a big win. Something else to point out is actually one of the few guys that actually was undefeated last week in the Sword division is now defeated. Flo took a loss to Vic. It was a really cool Sand versus Hail team. Always fun to see those dynamics. But put 1 notch on the loss streak there for Flo.
Yeah, and I think looking ahead to next week, as always, there's always going to be big matches, but I think we got a few that we're going to talk about here. Big match for me, just personal to my heart, is Florian against Blade. I'm rooting for Blade. I think he's got tons of potential. He's exciting. He's fun to watch. His name is Blade. He's in the Sword division, and it's him against Florian next week. And I hope that he can pick up another win, and maybe Florian is the next to fall.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely keep our eyes out on that one. Match that I am really excited for, and a lot of people who have been in this group longer than just this season will also be excited to watch out for, is Hayden versus William. Now, these two definitely are known as some of the more aggressive, maybe a little bit more antagonistic players in our group. More about the smack talking and stuff. So these two don't really rub each other the right way, and they definitely get very competitive when they fight one another. So this is definitely one to watch out for, and make sure you're reading the transcripts of the battle to see what smack talk they give out to each other.
Yeah, well said, and I think it's an interesting match, especially for Hayden. Hayden took a tough loss this week to Matthew, and hopefully, I'm sure for him, he's looking out to make up some of that groundwork, taking on William in the week 4 here.
Oh, exactly. On the Shield side, there actually is a really cool matchup. Ross versus Chris. They're actually friends outside of just the Pokemon group here. So it's always cool to see 2 friends battle it out, comrade versus comrade. It's hopefully it's a fun match, and I'm going to look forward to watching that one as well.
Yeah, those are just some of the matches coming up. And of course, there's going to be that, and we only talked about 3, but there's 12 matches every week, so there's 9 more matches. Tons of action to look forward to. We're going to wrap things up here for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned for the game of the week. This week's game of the week is Connor West against Sean, an awesome match out of the Shield division. One thing that's been really great to see with the game of the week, we had Sword was the first week game of the week, then we got Shield, Sword, so it's just ping-ponging back and forth. A lot of great matches have been played in this tournament, and there'll be plenty more to be played in the weeks to come, and we look forward to covering the action every week going forward, right to the bitter end. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Your Pokemon have been rested up, and we hope to see you soon.